scratch. Do you know one of the most difficult things to do is to build from scratch? When I talk about building from scratch, I'm not talking about not having any funds to begin a capital with, though that is part of it, but that's not even what I'm always emphasize on. Building from scratch, like losing a platform that gave you visibility, having no connections, like friends that are influencers or well to do that could actually push your business or run ages for you and stuff like that. Or you not even being bold enough to start all over again after losing a large community, or maybe after losing people that initially believed in you, maybe most of your potential customers that were able to purchase whatever you were involved with in great quantity, and now they are no longer available, or maybe because of the change of location, maybe because you lose one of your platforms, maybe I don't know, maybe anything, or maybe because you got involved in a relationship or something that drew you out of the people that you had worked with or built your community, and now you have to start all over again, rebranding, representing yourself. Oh, it is it is one of the most difficult things to do. When we talk about starting from scratch, it's not just about the financial aspect. What about the fact that you have to start convincing people to start believing in you? Maybe you were into a business where you were doing so well there and things went, sideways, and now you have to start all over again, but this time around, not with the same business, maybe with another business or something like that. Do you know how difficult it is? Like you wake up every day thinking of a new strategy that you're going to, put out there that is going to draw the attentions of potential consumers of the product that you're actually marketing. I'm not here today to tell you how difficult it is. I started with the points because I know that those are some points that business owners face. I am a business owner, still doing my, YouTube movies. So I know what that phase is all about. I know how it feels like. And then one of the toughest things is you losing your capital. Lose your capital, like losing your capital as a business person. Maybe you invested in a business that wasn't fruitful. Maybe you were duped, or maybe somebody deceived you into investing in something that's not your line of business, and you did eventually, and the outcome was nothing to write home about. You're totally lost. You don't know where to start. You invested all in that business, and it's like the world wants to come to an end. Like you're starting from scratch. Or maybe you were doing a business that was doing so well. At a point in time, you decided to start importing, and maybe you invested in a wrong company or factory, or I don't know, vendors or whatever, and you lost your capital. But here's one thing I'm going to tell you. If you are a business owner and you invested any amount of money in any business and you lost your capital, I know that I know it's something that no one can tell you how to feel. I know it can be hurtful. I know it can be painful. I know it can be suicidal. But here is me telling you that starting from scratch is not the worst thing. Yeah. You starting from scratch again is building another level of experience. Is holding yourself accountable for a rebranding process. It's like you failing an exam after paying all the fees required. you have to go back to that school. If not in that same school, you have to go to another institution, enroll yourself, study, and take other exams. That is how business or investments are like. If you eventually enroll yourself in a school, you study hard, you pass an exam, and you keep getting, promoted and all that, you keep getting the certificates that you want and eventually get a job. It's like you investing in a business, making sales, making income, building from that brand. That is how business is. I'm here to tell you that if you lose all hope because you had a difficult period or a difficult moment because you invested your all in a business, it's not the time for you to lose hope. Some will say, where do I start? I don't have any money again. I've lost confidence. Let me tell you something. Life itself is a learning process. As long as you are still breathing, you have every reason to wake up and think of what next to do. It could be an investment, it could be a project, it could be anything. If you have to pick up a 9-to-5 job to make sure that you put food on your table, get stabilized again, raise capital through that 9-to-5, and invest again in a business, go ahead and do it. There's no such thing as you have to be there at the same time with everybody. When you put it at the back of your mind that you're not competing with your siblings, you're not competing with your friends, you're not competing with your colleagues, you have a peaceful life. You didn't come to life to compete with your age mate, your group mate. You didn't come to life to compete with your classmates. You didn't come to life to compete with your siblings. Even twins don't have the same destiny. It is rare. Even if they do the same thing, they might be the same field of entertainment. I'm just taking an example. But they will not have the same income in their account. Even if they earn the same, one might be a little bit extravagant compared to the other. That is life. Back to the topic. The main topic was starting from scratch. I know it can be difficult. I know it can be terrible. I know it can be heartbreaking. I know sometimes it might be, very, very difficult. But you thinking of giving up is not the right thing to do. Look, starting all over gives you one kind of certainty because you have been there before. You know what it takes. It brings you a step backward, but it molds you more because it makes you to understand more about, approach. If you're a business person, sometimes you might have not studied how you approach your customers because you were, maybe the business you were dealing on or the business you are dealing in, you were blessed with very understanding customers or clients that purchase your goods or whatever you are into easily without having difficulties. Now, if you decide to change your line of business, you get to meet new set of people. You get to know how to deal with people. I'm not saying that you have to build up a business because you want to know how to deal with people. No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, my network is intact. All I'm saying is when life throws lemon at you, you have to use them to make lemonade. You have to be as strong as you can to rebuild yourself. Rebuilding yourself is not a process for you to say, oh no, you're destroyed, you're damaged. You can't work on certain things. You can work on certain things and you can even work on new things. Having had, when you have difficult times or difficult moment in your business, on your job site, it's a time for you to reevaluate yourself. It's not a time for you to condemn yourself. It's not a time for you to talk down on yourself. It's not a time for you to feel like you are not important. It's not a time for you to start condemning yourself, because the highest support you will need is from yourself. Your siblings are not going to support you because they don't know the emotions you're going through. Your parents might wish you well, pray for you, but you will never understand. They will never understand what you are going through. They will never feel the pain that you're feeling. I hope I'm yeah, what's YouTube sending to me? They will never feel the pain that you're feeling. They'll understand that, oh, you might be going through a trying time in your life. All they can tell you is sorry, be strong, and everything. You have yourself to hold accountable for everything that is happening in your life. Instead of you sitting back there, judging yourself, condemning yourself, telling yourself, oh, I failed, I should have listened to my instinct, I should have listened to my wife, I should have listened to my husband, I should have listened to my girlfriend, I should have... Look, you cannot cry over spilled milk. The last thing you can do is crying over spilled milk. Don't ever cry over spilled milk. Wake up from that place of regret. Wake up from that place of torture. Wake up from that place of pain and start up something. Some will say, I don't have anything. What do I fall back into? I lost all my capital. I did this. It happens to me. But guess what? I turned around. I didn't have gold jewelry at the moment because there was a time I sold my gold jewelry out. I looked around. I didn't have a gold jewelry. But guess what? I had 2 cell phones. One was the one I always publicize my business items with, and another one was the one I communicate with my friends with. And guess what? I sacrificed the one I always posted my business things on. You know why? I'll tell you why. When you want to go for something big, you have to sacrifice something bigger. I had to let go of the phone that I usually post my business items on, and my business contacts were on it because I wanted to change the line of business. And the only way for me to be able to stop answering to the many questions my customers would be asking me, because they had that number, they could communicate with me, either call me directly or send me WhatsApp message for the items I was, selling at that time. Because I didn't have answers to their questions, and because I wanted to work on myself, because I have myself. I love you. One thing I always tell you guys, love yourself enough to accept, not like love yourself enough to accept everything that comes your way except defeat. You have to be able to beat out everything that comes your way. You have to be able to fight it. Don't say, oh no, cannot look at somebody else's life and compare to yours. You can't be comparing your destiny or the grace you carry with your friend or your relative or your siblings, or it has nothing to do. You came to this world with a grace that is on you to accompany you to everything that you're about to do in this life. So whatever blessings and losses you make, you have to be strong. You have to, dust up yourself, stand up firm, and be ready to move. So I gave out that business phone. Yeah, I gave out the business phone. I sold the phone, not like I gave it out. I sold the phone because it was a big phone. It was an iPhone. Actually, I use only iPhones from time except when I got gifted by my ex when he bought me a Samsung phone, but I always use iPhones. So I gave out that phone. It was my business phone. I gave it out then. I sold it. The money was not that much, but it was reasonable enough. And I started something new. And social media is a place where you can be able to start a business without a store. You don't need to have a store. You don't need to have a working store. You just have to have goods and be good at creating content. Talk about whatever product you're selling. Tell your consumers how important the product is to them, why they should, purchase it or consume whatever product you are marketing. Tell them how beneficiary that product is to them. Tell them the use of the product, the advantages of them getting that product, and why they should get that product from you. I was doing all that as if it was not enough. It came to a point where I still did not have all the attention I needed. Rebuilding a brand is one of the most difficult things that can happen to you, but guess what? It's one of the best experience you will have as a human being if you love learning. Starting from scratch is not a bad thing. Let no one deceive you. I don't care how many times people have told you that you're not good at what you're doing. I don't care how many times you've been rejected. I don't care how many times you have been talked down. What matters is what are you doing to change that situation? You need sometimes when people tell you something, when something comes from one person, it might just be, it might not necessarily mean that that's who you are. But if it comes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, or 10 persons, then there's a problem with it. I used to be a very aggressive marketer. I didn't like to take advice from anyone. I just want to do my things, and if you want, you patronize me. If you don't want, because I have my money. And then boom, from the money you are eating as a business person, you invested in a business, you made some money, you fed on that money, you do every expenses on that money. Look, money is papers and it rotates. Today it might be in your hands, tomorrow it might be in the hands of another person. If you do not guide money well, if you do not save money well, if you do not invest with money very well, you might be a millionaire today and be a beggar tomorrow. Quote me anyway. There are so many people that you'll be asking yourself questions that how come this person had so much, they couldn't do this, they couldn't do this. It happens. There are people that are lavish spenders. They spend without thinking. They think that, okay, because they're still seeing the 6 figure there, there's still something. There's nothing. Once you break 1 6 figure, it's many hundreds, and that's how you keep spending. Before you realize it, you don't have anything. What I'm trying to say today is that you can start from scratch. It is not over. Don't think it is. It is not over. I don't care how old you are. I don't care your age. I don't care your person. I don't care how you look. What matters is what you think about yourself. Stop thinking about what people are thinking about you. People have a lot going through their mind. Everybody get a problem. Everyone have one thing or the other that they are praying or fighting or dealing with that you know nothing about. You think that when you come around, you look out, you say, oh no, these people might be looking at me. Maybe my friends are laughing at me. Maybe if there's anything that's going to make you feel less of yourself, cut off that links. If you do not have people that encourage you and understand, even if they encourage you in front of you and laugh at you at your back, as long as you're not aware of their mockeries at your back, then you're good to go. But if you know very well that these people are making a mockery of you, cut them off at that moment. If you have to cut off some certain people or some certain friends or relations to grow, cut them off and grow. Cut them off and grow. People that are not encouraging, people that are not supporting you, people that are not making you feel like you belong, cut them off and grow. When you get to a certain page or when you get to a certain level in life, you might still want to bring them closer back to you. But at a point where you see that they are not supporting or they are not supportive relatives or family member or friends or everything, or maybe they are the ones discouraging you the more, then there's a problem. A wise man once said, an enemy will always agree, but a friend will most at times disagree. Somebody that loves you genuinely will tell you sometimes that this thing that you want to do is good or bad. Sometimes people that don't love you genuinely, they always say, yes, 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 go ahead, yes, 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 go ahead. They want to see you make that mistakes repeatedly. Sometimes the people that care about you, they're going to advise you, take a step back, do this, do that, do that. I'm not saying that's every advice that you're going to put into consideration, but as a human being, I believe that we all have wisdom and knowledge. There are certain things that you know better how to go about it. Starting from scratch is not the worst thing that can happen to you as a human being. Being on the surface earth, losing everything you have, starting from scratch should not be the worst thing that can happen to you. As long as you're not on the sick bed, you have your 2 hands and legs, you can walk, guy, girl, you still can make it. You still can survive it. What do you think? What's running through your mind? You think that you have to be like everyone. You can't be like everyone. You're not everyone. You have a name, and that's your personality. That's you. You are who you're created to be on this face of the universe, on this surface called Earth. You have a part to play like every other human being. You are important, guy. Girl, you are important. Failure doesn't make you. It only builds you if you want to work more on yourself.